Today, I want to show you how I copied the cello sound from Idea 19 using just a few basic plugins. I'm excited to show you my setup and a bit of my process, so let's begin. Okay, so I'm in Logic, and let's start by hearing what we're aiming for. And to do that, I thought we could have a bit of a quiz. So if you can pick out which one is the original sound and which one is my copy sound, it'll be exciting if you can hear which is which, or which one you prefer even without knowing which is which. So I'm gonna play the both tracks now, and you won't know which is first. So let's just listen. So this is number 1, A. Nice. And then let's listen to the second one, this one. Can you hear a difference? Which do you prefer? All right, so the correct answer in 3, 2, 1 is... the last one was the original, okay, and the first one is my copy. So even if you like one over the other, doesn't really matter. The interesting part is how close they are, and once you have the settings I have, you can tweak them to make them more the style you want, for instance. So I'm just going to show you how to achieve at least this result, and you can do with that whatever you want. So before I started this project, I did some pre-work, and I knew that I wanted the original piano sound so that I could add the cello on top of it and get the sort of right mix. And I've done videos before where I've copied the piano sound from Gibran Alcocer as well. So I did the same thing here. I tried to get as close to the Idea 19 piano sound. I used some of my original Idea 19 and Idea 12 templates and sort of tweaked a little bit, maybe added some more reverb to get close to the piano sound. So let's listen to the original. This is the piano from Idea 19. Okay, and this is the piano sound I added on top of it, or how I duplicated the piano sound. So it's pretty close enough that I could use it as a background music, and then on top of that add the cello and sort of hear them both compared to each other. I find that more easy to have this reference background. Easier to compare between the original, right? When I can hear that the piano is sort of similar, then it's easier to pick out what are the differences in the cello only. I used the piano sheets and some reference videos online to just figure out what the notes were, and added them here and synced them up to the video so they're perfectly aligned. This video isn't really for the piano part, so I'm not going to go into much detail there. Just know that I have sort of the piano sound as a separate project here just in the background so that I could play just the piano part like this without the cello. Okay, so once I had that, I bounced that out so I had an audio file like this. Okay, so then I can use that without messing with the effects and stuff. It'll just be a waveform here, easy to work with. And once I had that, then I could move on to the cello part. So when I had the piano part down, I could focus on the cello. And the first thing I wanted was to have just the right MIDI notes for the cello. And to do that, I simply created a new MIDI track and then manually placed each note here matching up to the original song. And it doesn't have to be a cello instrument right now. I used a piano instrument just so I could hear each note very clearly. And it ended up being something like this. Okay. So just matching up the exact notes. And And again, as I said, it was just trial and error. This was so simple that I just took one and one note. Because yeah, if I didn't know the last one here, I would get to the end and listen to the original. Okay, and hear that, and then try to find which is it. This one maybe. Okay, but it was late, so move it correctly. Like that, yeah, easy. It is a lot easier if you have tempo mapped beforehand like I have. That's pretty easy in Logic. Not sure if it's very easy in your software. If not, you'll just have to look at the waveform and try to align it as best you can to look at these bumps and see where does it start, and then just use your ear and hear, is it early, is it late? Okay, so once I had just the MIDI notes down, then I could move on to the cello sound. So once I had the notes down, I was ready to start with the sound of the cello. And to do that, I chose the Contact Library Intimate Legato Cello by a company called Sonixinema, I think it's called. And this is one I have bought, so I paid for it because it's so beautiful. I do have one free one, which is Tokyo Scoring Strings. But since it's free, it has some limitations, and I kind of needed a bit more knobs and buttons there to get close to the sound. So I tried to use this Intimate Legato. But the principles will apply to some other libraries as well if you have anything else. So this one sounds very good right out of the box. I can play some. And it has good expression controls. That. And what I like about it is this proximity. So you can go very close or far away. And that's sort of the control I really felt I could use in this project, because when you're trying to match sound quality, it's about matching the distance, the stereo width, and the EQ and things like that. And this one also has these two, the blur and gloss. They are really cool. Listen to this. If I add the blur. Right? So with that, you have a lot of control over the quality of the sound. And even the gloss here. A bit more sharper sound. Right? And with those knobs, I knew I could at least tweak and sort of get close to whatever cello sound really I feel. Then you have some extra settings like the environment or the envelope here and FX for reverb and things like that. And basically what I did was just play around with some of these presets and listen to them. Okay, and I went through them one after the other, and I experimented with the proximity and expression. Well, not that much expression really, but proximity and blur and gloss, and also the intensity of the legato. So whether it's very quick when changing notes or taking a bit of time and gliding between the notes, and just listening to the original, trying to match whatever it was. And that's basically it, and then matching the reverb at the end. Reverb I find incredibly difficult to hear. I'm not good at it at all, but I just landed on something. I felt like I needed some reverb, and yeah, experimented with a few of these. But Cathedral I felt was just on default normal wide space reverb here. And with that, I'm going to show you the final settings I landed on. Okay, so proximity up around here, and leave the detune alone. The expression will be controlled by the automation. Speed here, I do have an automation you can see at the bottom. So if I play this, you'll see the speed bar jump a bit up and down. That you won't really hear much difference. You can leave speed at around 50, 60, somewhere around there. It'll be fine, trust me. So never mind my automation. It's not really doing much. I can't really hear it. I thought I did, but it's not really doing much. Intensity, put that down here. Blur, I put it at 65%. Gloss, 55%. Cathedral for the reverb. And negative 12 or even negative 11.1 will be fine as well. Cathedral here, size 100%. Left all of these alone, all of these settings. By the way, if you want to know exactly what all of these knobs do, there are much better resources online than me, so I can recommend some videos for you to watch if you want to learn more about this particular cello library. So check those out if you want. Okay, so envelope, I've also left all of these alone. And for the final tab, there's one icon here, the microphone icon. Go into that one, and there will be some settings for adjusting microphone settings. Number 1, 0. Put this one at the bottom. Mid here at negative 6.0 dB. And then 2.1 dB for this one, and this mix at 4.7. And with those settings alone, you'll get this sound. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. And next, we wanna see what I've done for this expression. When people play real cellos, they don't play all the notes exactly with the same intensity, right? They normally do maybe a slow start and then increase the intensity and go up and down, both in volume and how hard they hit the string. So I've added some automation here for the expression. Let's listen without any expression here. So flat line, and it's easier to hear maybe here. So we'll start here. Okay, so this long note, that was just one single, right? But if we add some expression, maybe starting slow and then increasing it and then going down again, you'll hear this. Okay, that mimics more human playing. So what you want to do is add some of that all over the place. Like, just rule of thumb, do some waves. Just wave all over here, like this, and you'll get some dynamic playing. Okay, I've added a bit smaller bumps to match up with where the notes change, and I started really slow here to get the fade in effect. If we listen to the original here, you might hear a bit how slow or quiet, I should say, the cello goes in. And I find that it's a bit more loud in the middle part here, and then maybe a bit quieter at the end. Okay, so I tried as best I could to match a bit of that expression with these ramps. And here, slowly ramping up just a touch of more intensity for this note here, right? To get that sensation there. Yeah, so this is what you want to experiment with. It can really make a difference for how the transitioning between the notes are. So, for example, again, if I do flat intensity here, between these two notes, we'll hear how the transition is. Okay. Then if I go up here and then down again and up, how does this sound? Okay, so you'll get more of a like that kind of sound. If you listen to the original cello, I think this one from the original track has a lot of those that kind of effects. Okay, so I didn't want to do too much, but that's sort of what I wanted to at least have in mind. Let's see if I can just undo all this. Yeah. Okay, so beware of adding expression to your cello track. It is very important to avoid that flat static dynamics and have some intensity during, particularly during long notes. So experiment with that, experiment with how quickly these jump up and down, what that does, and doing some longer ones. Delay compensation. It's a plugin I have here, and it's also a concept in itself. So this plugin, what that does is take all of the MIDI notes and shift them so that they start earlier than they are visible in the MIDI notation here. And you can see it's set to 214 milliseconds. And this will be necessary to adjust per instrument. This value was suitable for the cello. Now I'm going to show you exactly what this does live here. So with it turned on, we can turn on the metronome as well and hear how the cello fits the beat right now. Okay, so listen to this. Okay, did you hear how the cello fit the beat and we're on time? Now if I turn this off, you will hear something else. Can you hear that? Can you hear it's not quite, there's something wrong with the timing? Okay. So what that does is it, yeah, as I said, it shifts the notes backwards, and we'll see it actually more clearly if we bounce this out to audio. Okay, so now we've bounced it out, and this was with the delay compensator off. And you can see the shape here. Let's see this big lump here. That's some sound, right? Boom, that one starts there. And you can see it's after the beat here. The beat is on 32. And then this one, which is the attack of the note, and then you have some sustain afterwards. Okay, so we can listen to just this. So this big lump is where the note change, where you use the fingers and you change it when you play. And then the real note, the note that you're transitioning to, actually starts around here now and then increases, okay? So it's about 1.5 bar too late, okay? According to this one. So to make this one match up, I would have to turn snapping off. I would move all of this over. Something around there, I guess. So let's listen to it now. And I actually have two at the same time now. All right. Okay, turn that one off. Can you hear the difference? And now I'm gonna just undo that, move it back. So this was the bounced version with delay compensator off. Now turn it on and then do another bounce to see what the audio looks like. Okay, so top one here is with it on and bottom is off. And you can see on the top one, this big lump is a bit ahead of the beat. And then we have the sustain part going in here. But with it off, the lump was behind, okay? So this is exactly what we did manually. We moved it over like so. And that's what that plugin does for us automatically. And that helps us with positioning our cello on beat in the MIDI, but the sound will still be placed correctly with the delay compensator. But if you don't have this plugin, I mean, it's free, so you can download it and use it. If you don't want to use it, you can do what I did. You can bounce it and then shift it manually, or you'll just have to simply select all of your notes like this, and then shift them, what did I say, 1.5 bar, turn off snapping, 1.5, about there. Okay, and that should then sound all right as well. Let's hear. Yeah, you get the idea, right? So it's important to not have cello notes exactly on the beat there, because they need some time to prepare. You need some time to get the transition there, and then the note will follow after a very short transition. I have added just a little bit of EQ here with a TDR Nova, one of my go-to EQ plugins. It's free and it's simple and it's really good. So yeah, just a minor bump here around 1669 Hertz at 2.8 decibels and 0.39 Q factor, and turn this one off, the EQ gain. Yeah, let's listen to it with and without this one. Off. Just a little bit more presence there, okay? And with that, we are ready to put this together with the piano part. Okay, so I've enabled the bounced version of my original piano track, and I have the cello track below. So when I put those two together, it sounds like this. Okay, nice. You will have to notice I've lowered the volume here on the cello to -7.2. Let's listen to it with 0 dB here. And compare to the original. So when I toggle back and forth, I can hear the cello is way too loud. It needs to be quieter, right? So if I lower it much more, like here, I'll just go back and forth here. Too low. Something like that. Okay, so that's how I just tweak and tweak until I find where it's supposed to be at. Let's see if I undo here. Was down at -7.2, right? And I have done a magic thing here with the pan knob. I panned it slightly to the left, -13. I tried again tweaking like the stereo width and how it should be, but I couldn't get it exactly. And then I tried to just turn it a little bit to the left side, and then I found that it sort of matched pretty good doing just that. So with center panning here, okay, and then a little bit to the left. Unless you have good quality speakers or headphones here, you won't hear this difference, but I felt it made a difference. So maybe because the piano part has a little bit leaning to the right with the right hand there. Could be that it just fits better in the space. I don't know. But maybe it's a trick, taking the cello a little bit to the left to make it fill the space differently. Okay, let me bounce out this part. Like that. Mute that. So now we have the bounced cello, bounced piano part, and we can compare it side by side with the original. Okay, and here where we are at. Okay, and with that, I'll leave it up to you. Try it yourself and make some beautiful cello sounds. Okay, bye bye now.